Hello there. My name is Leo and I'm a data scientist at Kern. Today I'm really excited to be able to show you our new open source and free to use tool called automl-docker. With automl-docker, you will be able to easily create natural language classifiers and pack them up in ready to use Docker containers. I'm going to show you this by creating a stock news sentiment classifier, which will take in news for stocks and tell you whether or not they are positive or negative. This is how the end result will look like. But before we get started, please make sure that you have both Python as well as Docker Desktop installed on your computer. To get going, we first need to head to our GitHub page called automl-docker and clone this Git repository. You can do this by simply clicking on this green button and copying this green snippet here. Now go to a terminal of your choice and simply type in git clone and paste in the text snippet, and within a few seconds the Git repository should be cloned on your computer. Now we need to switch over to the file, and because our tool is command line based and runs on Python, we first need to install some dependencies before we can use our tool. To do this, you can either use Anaconda, or I'm going to use pip in this case. You can simply write pip install requirements.txt. In my case, I already have all the necessary requirements installed on my computer, but for you it will probably take a little longer than that. And now we are ready to create cool machine learning models right on our computer. To get going, simply type python 3ml/create_model.py. And this will start our automl-docker tool. The first thing we need to tell our tool is where the data we want to use for our model is stored on our computer. You can simply do this by copying a path of your data to where your data is located. I have already done so here. And then you can simply paste it into our tool like so. If the tool can't find the file and the location, it will simply tell you, hey, I didn't find anything, please try again. In this case, luckily, the tool found the file in the right place. Next up, we need to tell the tool which part of the data it should use to train the machine learning model. In this case, we have two columns available. You can see this here. And we need to use the sentiments column for training, but you could theoretically use multiple columns as well. Wonderful, that worked really good. Next up, we need to type in the columns where the labels for the training are stored in. The labels are really important for the algorithm to be able to actually learn from the data to make accurate predictions. The labels in this case are stored in the sentiment column. Now, because computers can only work with numbers and numeric data, but our whole data set is basically only made out of text, we need to pre-process the data first to be able to be usable by the computer and the algorithm. And we do this by using a state-of-the-art method called embeddings. Now, if you've never heard of this, don't worry. All you need to decide now is whether you want quick but less accurate results, or whether you have a lot of time at your hands to get the best possible result. To pre-process the data, we recommend two models shown in bullet point 1 and 2 here. The one is slightly faster, but gives you less accurate results. Please note, though, that both the model 1 and 2 only work on English text data. If your dataset is in another language, don't worry, you can simply go to huggingface.co, where you find a lot of models to pre-process languages other than English. Because I'm not in a hurry and I want the best possible results, I'm going to type in 1 to pre-process my data. Depending on whether or not you have a dedicated graphics card, this can take up to a couple of minutes. If you have a graphics card with CUDA cores, this should be relatively quick. Unfortunately, I don't, so this will take a couple of minutes, and I will get back to you once the pre-processing is done. Okay, perfect. The pre-processing of the data is now done, and next the tool is going to automatically create a machine learning model for us. At this stage, you don't need to do anything except lean back, maybe grab yet another cup of coffee or tea, and enjoy while your machine learning model is learning. Again, depending on your hardware, this might take another couple of minutes. So I'll just wait until the training here is done and then get back to you a little later. Now the tool is finished with training our machine learning model, and at the end we also get some evaluation metrics to see how our model is performing. We got an accuracy score of 69%, nice, which is quite okay considering that the data set we used is not really big, so I'm actually quite happy with this. We also get the mean squared error and a confusion matrix. Okay, so the building of the machine learning model is now all set and done. And next up, we're going to pack everything up in a neat and nice Docker container. To do this, you simply can write bash start underscore container. Now, this command will only work on Mac OS and Linux, and I'm on a virtual Linux machine here. However, you can still continue in Windows, of course. You just need to type in some more commands than this, but you will find them, of course, in the README or the corresponding blog article. But I'm simply going to type in bash start container, which will initiate the building process of our container. Again, we don't need to do anything here except wait until our container is built. Okay, perfect. The Docker container is now up and running, and you could theoretically take it and do whatever you'd like with it. To give you an example of how you actually could use the container now, we have built a small and simple user interface in which you can try out your model. In this example, we are going to try out our stock news classifier. To actually use this user interface, you don't need any additional software or dependencies. You can simply go back to your folder with the GitHub repository. In there, you have a folder called app. You can switch to there. And here you simply need to type streamlit run UI, that stands for user interface, .py, and hit enter. Now the user interface is loading, and you can simply access it via the browser of your choice by typing in localhost 8501. And in here in this box, you can type in the text that you want to get predictions on. And before filming this video, I went to Yahoo Finance to get me some news headlines. And the first one is reading that the stock market is not fully pricing in a looming recession. And I think that sounds rather negative. and let's see what our model has to say about this. And yes, our model is indeed saying it's negative, and it is also quite confident. With a confidence of 89%, I would say, good job, model. But I have also found another headline. This one is an headline for IBM, and it's stating that IBM is outpacing the stock market gains. What we should know. What I want to know is what my sentiment classifier is thinking about this. It's saying, yeah, it's positive. It's not as confident as the last time, maybe because the headline is really short, but I would say I agree with this label that this headline is indeed positive. And that is basically it for this short and small tutorial. I hope you'd liked this tutorial and found it very helpful. If you have any suggestions or questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Goodbye.